Hello everyone, welcome to the Ranting Shop with me, Melissa, and today we're going to be discussing Ready to Love Season 9, Episode 9, Blink If You Need Help. Okay, so this episode, all of the contestants are in one building, they're in one household, and they get to see how others interact with each other and with other people. So, what I will say about this episode was that we got to see a lot of desperate women. At this point, you see that the women are purely wanting to stay just to ride out the show. There's no connections with really anyone, really, other than Phil and Aries. I don't see anything that would work outside of this show. So let's speak on the fact that Janelle got really clingy towards Quinton, and I think that's to be expected when that's your only connection. The same way we saw Miss Sierra be so clingy towards Maury because that was her only connection. That was her only saving grace for this process. And I feel like naturally with this type of show, it becomes sometimes less about finding love and more about staying on the show, which is why people call it a game. Because I think at this point, people want to stay on the show. There's no genuine love there. And at the end of the day, I understand some of it is out of the contestants' control. Because, for example, I could know that I have no connection here, but for the sake of the show, because there's a certain amount of episodes that the show has to do, right? So to save the show, people just can't get up and leave, and some people in the comment section say, oh, why don't they just leave? Because they can't. This is a show. They signed a contract. There's a certain amount of episodes that needs to be filmed, and there needs to be contestants to fill those episodes. So if half of the cast have no connections, they can't leave. Some of them have to stay, So that's probably why Sierra couldn't just get up and leave. Yes, other people have left in the past. But for the storyline and for the excitement of it, she just can't leave, even though she wanted to, because I think she realized that Maurie's connection was stronger with Jessica. So she's like, what's the point of me being here? It made no sense. And I think all of us as an audience saw that it made no sense for Sierra to be there. Do I feel as if Sierra really wants a Maury? Absolutely not. I feel like at that point, it was more so a survival tactic. Like, let me see what I could do to stay longer on the show. But a genuine connection with Maury, I don't see it. Neither do I see Maury having a connection with Sierra. Like, watching them interact was really cringy. Because I'm like, you guys are forcing something that's just not there. He's talking about he wants her to open up and so on and so forth, when he knows that even if she does open up, he's still gonna choose Jessica no matter what. So it's like, what's the point in opening up if you're still gonna choose Jessica? Because no amount of opening up in that one episode would amount to anything. It's too late. So let's go into Janelle, Miss Katarina, and Quinton. In this episode, what we saw was Quinton is, I don't know what it is about Janelle, but he is stuck on her. Even to the point where Kat asked him, are you spoken for? Is Janelle, like, is that what's happening? He said yes. He said he's spoken for by Janelle. So at this point, it's really clear that that's his only connection. That's his one and only connection. It's clear. It's sad because it's like you want them to just go off and leave, because if you're not willing to open up to anybody else, then what's the purpose of still being here? I understand your connection is Janelle, but still be open to talking to other women. But he's closed himself off already, right? And yes, Janelle was being very clingy and very stuck on Quinton, but Quinton allowed that. Quinton wanted that. You know, it's not something where he feels smothered. It's not something where he feels unattracted to. He loves that because he really likes Janelle for whatever reason. So basically what Katarina was saying was that the thing with Janelle is like she has a very reckless mouth. Like the way she speaks to people, it's in a very derogatory way. It may not necessarily be the use of bad words, but the way she says things, there's a level of superiority with the way she speaks to people and makes you feel belittled, like just the way she says things. I don't know what it is, but she's very nasty. Her personality is it's she's just like Jessica. No wonder Jessica is her friend. She is like Jessica, but Jessica is a little bit more, I cannot even say Jessica is more likable because we barely get to see Jessica's personality, and what we do see of her is her facial expressions, and she never looks enthused about anything. She's super serious. Janelle is also, but Janelle, I guess, is more. I don't even know what if to call it sociable. Okay, let's say Janelle seems more sociable on screen. So they had this huge argument where they're talking about gender roles and everything like that. And Chris mentions, oh, he wants his woman. He feels like a woman's place is essentially in a house. He has these old traditional views of women and their roles. And we heard about Chris and what he expects from his woman through his ex, who said that basically she lived a life of servitude. It always had to be about Chris. It always had to be about catering to Chris. And he never reciprocated that energy. So I don't know any woman that's gonna want that. I mean, he seems like a good guy, but when it really comes down to it, what woman would tolerate wanting to or having to serve a man hand and foot and not getting anything in return? Like, these are not the days of your grandparents, you know? So yeah, he's cute, yeah, he's nice, but I don't really think any of these women are gonna go for what he wants. So they have a disagreement. Kat disagrees with something Janelle says, or there's some misunderstanding there, and then it escalates from there. And then Kat's problem with Janelle is the way she speaks to people, her delivery. It's not nice. It doesn't come across mutual. It comes across very defensive, very harsh, very, I don't know, conceited. I don't know what other words to use, but she took offense to it, and then it became something about ugly bitches and all these kinds of things that I'm like, that was so unnecessary. And you'd think it would turn Quinton off, but he's still right there rubbing Janelle's feet and listening to Janelle calling another woman ugly and saying that other women come for her and she doesn't know why they do it. You know why you do it. You know that the way you say things and the way you present your opinions to people are not in the nicest of ways. The thing is, you just don't care. You don't care. You don't care to understand that your delivery is not nice. And that's what it is. So nobody wants to really say anything about Janelle. Maurice went to comfort in quotation marks, went to comfort Katarina. It's like, oh, I'd want to see two black women. And notice nobody went to Janelle and said anything to Janelle. Nobody was like, Janelle, your delivery. I feel like some people are afraid of her because I don't think she's someone that listens, and I don't think she's someone that really tries to be empathetic to other people's concerns. I feel like she feels how she feels, and if you don't like it, move around. And people know that, which is why they don't come to her and suggest, maybe perhaps you could speak more, in a different tone, maybe people would receive it differently. She doesn't care. Oh, the only person that's gonna tolerate her stuff is Quinton and Jessica, because Jessica and Janelle are just alike. So what else are we gonna speak on? Let's speak on, and let's go back to Quinton. It's actually very disappointing that Quinton is so caught up in lust that he feels too. Although he did make mention of, oh, I didn't like the way Janelle did this or did that, there's not gonna be any repercussions there because he likes her so much. He's willing to kind of let that go to hell. Like, he doesn't really care. And I feel like he's missing all these red flags, and I really wonder why. What is superseding these red flag monitor to the point where he would, like, yeah, he spoke on it, but it's not gonna be something that makes him unattracted to Janelle. It's not gonna be something where he really thinks, oh wow, can I really have something serious with this woman? Can this relationship really work if this is the way she communicates? I don't think he's thought of any of that. Neither do I think he cares, which is why I feel as if the relationship he has with Janelle is not gonna amount to anything serious, because I just don't see that in a long-term relationship the way she communicates is gonna work with any man. I just don't see it. Granted, you could say, well, she doesn't speak that way to men, she speaks that way to other women. Eventually, the way you communicate is gonna translate or seep over to your partner, and he's absolutely not gonna tolerate it after some time. So I just don't see that working. But I feel as if Chris and Lee, they're just like each other, but I don't think they want. I think Chris sees that Lee's just like him and he's attracted to that, and he's going towards that, which I understand. Sometimes people want themselves in other people, but I don't think that's what Lee wants. Lee doesn't want herself in another person. She wants somebody that is not like her. She wants somebody that's the opposite of her, so that, you know, whatever she lacks, that person is able to provide, you know. And so that's why I feel like she's not too keen on Chris. And Chris is not this openly masculine figure, you know, which is what she says she wants, which is what Quinton exudes, which is why her only real connection, I believe, is Quinton. That's the only person I think she's interested in. But unfortunately, he's stuck on Janelle, so I don't see him leaving Janelle and that connection anytime soon for Lee. So at one point I see Maury enters Jessica's room and he brings her soup, and you know, she's like, thank you. There's like no connection with Jessica and Maury, and I'm kind of sick of, and it's a little bit cringy as well watching them interact with each other, because you know that there's just no connection there. The type of man Jessica wants, it's not encapsulated in what Maury looks like or what I think he provides. Yes, he could be nice, and yes, he could be this man for her, but that's not who she wants. You know, she wants more of a leader. She wants somebody that she's attracted to. I don't think she's attracted to Maury, which is why I don't feel like there was much of a fight. Although she made that comment to Sierra about she doesn't share her man, that was all for TV, because she doesn't really like Maury to the point where she thinks that that's her man, or whatever the case may be. Like, you know, sometimes the producers will tell them to say this or say that because it adds excitement to the show, but they don't really feel what they're saying. So in that case, I feel like she was just saying something the producers told her to say, because there's just no way you'd find Jessica fighting over Maury. Like, there's just no way. she's not attracted to him. So he's talking about wanting to have this more intimate thing with Jessica. I know he sees that this, whatever he's feeling, is not being reciprocated by Jessica. I'm wondering why he just doesn't see it and quit. I wonder if it's for the show. Because at this point, Maury is looking really pathetic with his pursuit of Jessica, knowing Jessica doesn't want him. Anyways, so there's that. Step class, the I don't know what you call these classes, the step class that Lee was leading. Now, I didn't know how much Janelle hated physical exercise, until I saw her in Lee's spin class. She absolutely hates any type of physical activity, which is no wonder she's her size, because I mean, anything to do with anything physical, she rejects it immediately. And it's like everybody was doing Lee's spin class except for Janelle. Janelle, in fact, looked annoyed, and she looked pissed off, and she looked irritated, and everybody was laughing and trying, and even Jessica was trying, and and Janelle was like, absolutely not. But Quinton was enjoying that. I wonder how the dynamic of his relationship with Janelle is gonna work if Janelle doesn't find happiness in physical activity, but that's Quinton's happy place. Quinton's job involves physical activities. I don't know. That's just a weird dynamic to me. Maybe he feels like she's a challenge and he can conquer her, but Janelle seems like she'd shift just a bit for somebody she likes, but she's not gonna budge too much away from what she doesn't want to do. So Lee saw there that the relationship with her and Quinton is not as open as she thought. It's actually quite closed off, almost almost exclusively for Janelle. Anybody else is like extra, but really and truly Janelle. So elimination time, and to no surprise to me or anybody, Sierra goes home. They don't actually say who goes home, but we know Sierra goes home, simply because we see in the previews that Chris is arguing with somebody and telling that person, you don't know me, you don't know anything about me, in fact, F you and F everything that comes with you. And we know, we've seen that preview before, and we've seen the person they cut out of it, and that person is Jessica. So he's gonna be talking tough to Jessica and letting Jessica know. See, Jessica must have said something to trigger him, because he's like, absolutely not. Okay, and maybe it has to do with the fact that during the elimination, when Maurice was, stating why Jessica was placed on the block, he mentioned her being, what was that word? I don't know, combative. And that really pissed Jessica off. And you heard Janelle sticking up for Jessica in that moment in the previews. So maybe that is the catalyst for them having a sit down, and it goes left because they're just not compatible. They're not meant for each other. What he wants and what Jessica is willing to give, it doesn't align. So anyways, you guys, I think that's it for the episode. And we all know Phil and Aries. There's no need to get really much into that, because it is what it is. They like each other. There's no drama. Nobody's vying for Phil, so they're fine. Nobody's really vying for Aries, so they're good. And then Katarina is like scrambling to find a connection. We all know it's too late at this point. Like, Quinton is stuck on Janelle. Chris is more open, but he's more willing to see what Lee is doing more than what Kat is doing. So there's that. But anyways, you guys, let me know what you thought about this particular episode. Like, subscribe, and see you guys next time. And also, let's have a conversation in the comment section like we always do. Let me know, like, what do you have any opposing feelings, or what did you think about Quinton? What did you think about Janelle? And let's share it. Let's talk it. Like, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Bye.